Hey everyone, today as part of your Control Your Soccer Future Challenge, which is a success mindset driven as well as a skill driven program, we're going to discuss 10 things a college soccer freshman should know. A college soccer player's experience does not start when he arrives or she arrives on campus. It actually arrives quite a bit early, or should I say, it starts as quite a bit earlier. So here is a small list of some of the things that I have put together in hopes that it will help all the soccer freshmen that are about to embark on their soccer career and give them a backstage look from a college soccer coach being associated daily with soccer players and interacting as well as listening to them and again comprising a short list of the things that I feel should be addressed and a list of things that all incoming college freshmen should be aware of. And I hope this brings value to you. Once again, before we continue, I want to remind everybody, please subscribe to the channel. Please like it and hit that little bell when new videos come out. It kind of helps us navigate through all the Facebook clutter. I'm sorry, YouTube clutter, should I say. So here we go. Let's dive right in. So the first thing that I want to discuss is being prepared. Okay. So you have been accepted by your university of choice and you have committed and now you're ready to go right away. And, we're in the midst of graduation and, celebrating your 4 years accomplishments and having parties and all that stuff. But listen, before summer gets the best of you, the first thing that, in my experience, and being that I have an 18-year-old daughter as well, going to college, is basically addressing some things that may slip or may be put on the side and time may sneak up on you. So right away, you got to address your paperwork. All your docs and forms that are needed for that particular college that you're going to, and of course, your financial aid should be taken care of right away. Make sure that your living arrangements are intact because guess what? If you prolong it a little bit, dormitories get filled up, and before you know it, you're struggling to find place to or roommates, should I say, to live with, and the choices are limited. Lastly, and most important, in my opinion, is get your classes in order. The classes fill out very quickly, so as soon as the classes are being available, you're going to make a habit of jumping in and getting your classes, not just now, but also in the future. Classes, as I said, do get filled out quickly. You may not be able to get in it, and that kind of may derail you from your schedule and what you want to take. The next thing I want to address is now, like I said, you graduated high school. You're in the middle of celebrating, which is fantastic, and maybe you're being rewarded with a vacation from mom and dad. But in my opinion, do not go on vacation the week before you do to arrive on campus for preseason. In my opinion, if you are, it depends on when your high school is graduating. For example, my daughter went to a high school where they were done basically the last weekend in May, which is quite a bit early compared to a lot of the other schools. But if you can get away and go on vacation, if your high school is graduating early, June is a good month to go, or early July. And here's why: once that's done, then it gives you an opportunity to set up a training schedule. And what I'm about to discuss next is very important because I see this happening every single year. Every single year we have incoming freshmen that arrive and they're just not prepared for the rigorous training and schedule of college life. And right away, they're in the back of the eight ball. So you have to set up a training schedule. Either do it with by yourself, or if you're working with a trainer, set up a training schedule. And I'm not talking about once a week. I'm talking about minimum 3 to 5 days per week. Once again, when you come to the university, most schools, and this is no joke, most schools that are hosting a soccer program, the first day that you come to campus, or the first day, the first day of training, should I say, you'll be asked to do a fitness test. And guess what? Every year, college freshmen, there are some, not all, but there are some that cannot finish it, that right away put a target on the back. And I don't want to sound negative, but if you come in and you're not in shape, you're in the back of the 8 ball, your coaching staff right away are going to check that you came unprepared. Although, if you are going to college to play with, for a soccer program, chances are you have been communicating with the coaches, and chances are the coaching staff, has given you a preparation list, sort of. So if you come in and you're not in shape, right away you make a bad impression. So set up a training schedule during the summer, and I'm suggesting 3 to 5 days daily. You have to get into a mindset of, yes, you graduated, congratulations, celebrate your accomplishments, but now you're going to move on and start working on the next phase of your life, which is your college experience as a soccer player. I know it's not easy. I know it's difficult, but if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. It's a choice that you've made. It's a mindset that you need to be in. And that's what happens. And that's when it's needed to move into your next phase of life, that being college or after that, if you continue playing soccer or, another sport. You have to have the right mindset. Mindset is not a part-time thing. Mindset is something that has to be with us on a daily basis, year-round, every day of our lives. And that's something that, we need help with. Sometimes we falter. Sometimes we, frail. Sometimes our mindset needs to change. So that's something that we'll address at a different video. But again, mindset is very important. Adjust it. Get a training schedule, which should include a couple of things. It should include conditioning. As I said, first day of training, you'll be asked most likely to do a fitness test. So you want to make sure that you are in condition, and please make sure that you're in soccer-specific conditioning, not, cross country or lacrosse. Or if you need help with that, reach out to me. Be more than happy to give you, provide you with a a training schedule, which includes conditioning. The other thing that you want to make sure that, you keep up with is your ball skills. Look, you could be the greatest ball skill player in the world, but those players, they use their ball skills and they train on their ball skills and refine it on a daily basis and weekly basis. It's not something that, hey, I became a good, ball player with my skills. Now I can just, let go. No, you have to constantly maintain it and polish it. The last thing that I recommend is, if you have the opportunity, please try to play in a summer league. And the higher the level, the better. Because again, coming from a high school experience and playing at college are two different things. The levels are automatically higher. The level of play, the level of speed, reading the game, the physicality, just everything is a step higher. Actually, more than a step, quite a bit higher. So playing in the summer league, and if you're an 18-year-old and you have maybe a 23 and under league close to you, and you're allowed to join, go ahead. Don't worry about getting knocked around. You're not joining this league to, to be the top player. You join this league to play with better players or better players, not equal players as you, but better players if possible, more physical, older, and it's okay if you get knocked around. That will give you valuable experience coming into a college program. Believe me, that alone is something that, will bring you great benefits. And I guarantee you will see the difference and you will appreciate this once you come on campus. So the next step, the next one, should I say, other than prepare, is arriving early. So you arrive early on campus and you set everything up. You get situated, you get familiar with the facilities and the processes. And I'm talking about both academically and in the sport that you're in, which in this particular instance, it's soccer. Don't arrive late on campus. The earlier you arrive on campus, the more time you have to address all these things and get familiar. Learn where the wellness center and the training center is. That is to be used as much as possible. This is going to be your go-to place when you're dealing with your health and injury challenges. And that's something that we stress quite a bit as coaches. Make sure you are healthy. Make sure that the trainer becomes one of your best friends, because you need them to always take care of you. You need to be on the training field. You need to be constantly on the training field, because you're always in front of the coaches' faces, basically. If a coach sees a player constantly being injured and not on the training field, number one is that they're not ready to play. They will never, they're always behind. Number two is they're frail. Number three is that out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. So all the coach has a list of the injured players in the reserves. The more that you're in front of the coach, the more chances to be in their minds. Learn what the cafeteria is. This is, if there is a nutrition program for athletes, which usually when you're playing for a team-oriented sport, or if you're an athlete in college, there is some type of a nutrition program where, what to eat, when to eat it. Make sure that you put it in your system to basically best feed yourself what suits your body. Not everybody has the same reaction to certain foods or certain things that we eat. And at the very, very least, make sure you're always hydrated. It's good to be hydrated, because especially in the beginning of the season, preseason, it's extremely hot wherever you go. August, extremely hot. So you need to be hydrated. Okay, you need to be hydrated constantly, but also, your post-life experience after soccer season is over. Hydration is one of the greatest things, because it kind of clears your mind. It clears your mind. It helps you be more focused. Hydration is very important. Might even be, in my opinion, more important than actually nutrition. Yes, you got to be well, fed and have the right nutrition. But again, being hydrated at all times is very important in all aspects of our lives. Know where all the training facilities are. And how long it takes you to get from your dorms or your classes there. You do not want to be late, okay? You want to make sure you know where the stadium is, where the training grounds are, where the training facilities are. You want to make sure that you have enough time to go from your class to your training session on time. And on time means being on the field before, actually, my opinion is always 5 to 10 minutes before training starts. If you're there on time, you're late. So be there 5 to 10 minutes before training sessions start. And at the very least, stay healthy. That's something that we tell our athletes all the time. Stay healthy. You have coaches, you have training coaches, conditioning coaches, nutritionists. These are all tools that you should utilize to have the best shape of yourself on the field. That's what you're there for. You're there for academics and to play a sport. So if you don't maintain those standards, chances are you won't be able to perform at top level, and you won't be able to be a constant force in training or in games. Next one is meet the return players. Go out of your way to engage with return players. If freshmen are required to be on campus a day or two prior to the return players, I would suggest maybe do some homework and go on the college website, read up on the return players, and get to know the return players. Once the return players arrive, get engaged, ask questions, and create relationships. Get to know other players' likes and dislikes, and use them to your advantage. Be of service to them and serve others. Volunteer. So when I say get to know other players' likes and dislikes, if the return players are coming in and there's something in particular that they like. So for example, the returning midfielders are coming in, and a particular midfielder, he's a quality player, he's a leader, or she's a leader, in the team. See what they like. And use that to get to know them. If they don't like something, let's say that you have a midfielder that does not like, the ball played to them into space, they prefer into feet. Or let's say that you have a midfielder that prefers his or her right foot. They're really not big on the left foot. Try to, work and get better on using your left foot, and take that disadvantage to your advantage and show that you are better with your left foot. So these are the little things that you can learn from. Be uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You will be asked to do many things that you may not like. Do them and do them well. Do not shy away. You're going to be uncomfortable all your life. The faster you learn to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, the better of a quality life you're going to have in college and thereafter. So don't just do things, but try to do them well. Next thing would be communication. Okay, it's a very simple thing that I find extremely important. You need to basically constantly communicate with the coaching staff. You need to have communication with your teammates. You need to have communication with your advisors as well as your professor. Communication in this world is something that learning from experience, and believe me, I have made my mistakes. Is It's something that kind of falls between the cracks. The more you communicate with someone or something, the better results you have. Everybody is on the same page. So don't be shy of the coaching staff. Don't be shy of being called a kiss, you know what. Don't worry about everybody else. You do what you do. Communicate. And coaches, let me tell you, coaches love players that are engaging. They don't find them annoying. They find them engaging. They love players that are interested in learning in their coaching philosophy, in their coaching style. They're always asking questions. Hey, coach, how can I become a better midfielder? Hey, coach, what do you think I should do to improve my first touch? Hey, coach, when I play, should I be always looking to drop back into space and receive ball, or do you want me to explore other space moving forward? Just different questions, but at the same time, get to communicate with your teammates, talk to them, get to know them. And of course, besides your soccer experience, you got to communicate with your advisors. You need to know and ask their input. And you also have to know what's going on with your professors. Although college is much different than high school, and there's a little more of a space between the professors and the students. Okay, some high school teachers, they're on top of the students. They have more of a personal relationship. In college, you may not have a professor, or well, you may or may not have a profession that's very personal. But again, they get paid to do their job and they go home. But again, most professors will be engaging and will, offer assistance. They usually have office hours that you can go visit them. But having that communication is important, because if you come to find out that your professor may not be as accessible to you as others are, well, you need to make arrangements on how you can bridge the gap between you and the professor. Or if they don't have a lot of hours or a lot of office space, then you need to make other arrangements and find help from someplace else. Support groups. A lot of first year students get homesick, and that's okay. It happens to a lot of people. It happens to almost everybody, actually. Okay, starting a support group with incoming first year players and support each other through those difficult times, it's a great way to minimize that feeling that you have missing mom and dad or your siblings or your familiar environment back home. So believe me, if you think that you're the only one that gets homesick, you're not. And by creating a support group and being a leading force and asking other incoming first year players to create that support group, you will take probably you will give them a big relief, because they're probably feeling the same way. Not to mention, you're actually doing them a favor. So you're not only helping yourself, but you're helping your teammates. You're becoming a support for them. You're becoming of service to them. This is something, again, that very few people see. Believe me, over the course of the 5 so years that I've been coaching in college, I have seen some students that from the minute they come in to the minute they graduate, their growth level is tremendous. But I have also seen students that, they come in and they don't, possess these little skills, and their growth is not that great. Let's be honest, not everybody is going to excel. And a lot of student athletes will transfer. or will quit? Do you want to be one of those? Again, little things, support groups. Take advantage of it. Standing out. All right, I want to give you guys some positive examples of how to stand out. You have to learn to stand out in positive ways, not negatives. You always have to be early to team activities and make sure you greet the coaches. Coaches love to be acknowledged and appreciated. Always contribute when you asked, and make sure you volunteer. Volunteering goes in a great way. When you were in your during your high school process, I'm sure that most of you guys were told that having volunteer activities on your application, your college application, goes a long way. Volunteering is a big process of the college recruitment and the college selection process. So it doesn't change here. Volunteer in everything that you have and always contribute. Make sure that you're respectful. Make sure you're respectful and communicate, as I said before. And at the very most thing that you need to lose, you gotta lose. If you have an elite attitude, you gotta lose it. If you come into your college environment, your college team, thinking that, well, I was a first team all-state player, I scored 50 goals in one season. I'm exaggerating first, but if you did, fantastic. I'm the top scorer. Everybody wants to be, with me or be me. Blah, 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 blah. Me, 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 me. Lose it. Lose it right away and lose it quickly, because you're going to suffer. Your teammates are not going to like that. And chances are, your coaching staff may not be too appreciative either. Best ways to stand out on the field is communicate, being vocal, and always work hard to not quit. No matter what the situation is, coaches love players that are communicators, that are vocal. Coaches love players that never quit and always work hard. You cannot control situations on the field, but you can always control your work ethic. You can always control your attitude. You can always control what you do and say and how much you do and say on the soccer field. So these are some positive examples, in my opinion, that you can stand out. You have to be laser focused. When you have a bad training session, let your personality, let your work ethic, let your team first attitude shine. Be confident and show it all the time without being cocky. Find a hairline between being confident and being cocky. You can be confident in yourself even where you are lacking a skill and do not know something. You are confident that you'll work hard to acquire or improve that skill. You listen, you cannot fake attitude and it will show, believe me. So a coach will notice that maybe you're not as proficient in a certain skill. So, let's say that, your first touch may not be, as great, or, your left foot is not the greatest, but he loves the fact that you are confident you're going to work hard and improve those skills and those tasks. So confidence is not only, mastering something or being really good at it, but confidence is knowing that your personality, your alter ego, will work very hard even when a challenge comes to acquire and master that challenge, if that makes sense. So confidence is not, just being really good at something. Confidence is being a confident person that you can work and overcome challenges. So once again, like I said, unfortunately, attitude is something you just cannot hide. Bad attitude or good attitude, it comes through. You can't lie your way out of bad attitude, and a good attitude, you don't have to show it to say much. It always shines. It always comes through. Some negative examples, pretty simple, really. Being late. And I'll be honest with you, that's something that I always have struggled my entire life, being late. So what I've done is I actually set up systems to not be late for any training sessions. I'm never late for training sessions. So one of the processes that I've said is that when I do training sessions, I actually create a training session and I plan a training session before I get to the training ground. And then I actually get there and I lay it out. I lay out my cones, I lay out my diagrams, I lay everything out. So By doing that, I have to force myself to be there earlier than the players to set up the training session, because I like to have my training session a flow. I don't like to have the players come in and me try to organize my session, in front of them, going through that first activity and then having to, repack everything and pack out or open other things or set up other, cones and this and that, and then do it over and over again. I like to flow from one activity into the other by pre-planning and pre-setting up all my stuff on the training grounds. That takes time and preparation. So by showing up, by needing to do that, I always show up early. I'm very, very, I don't think I've ever been late for a training session or a game unless, an emergency came up. The next negative example that I want to talk about is whining and complaining. Always, even if it's under your breath, even if it's under, mumbling, even, if you're rolling your eyes or, your shoulders or, people see it. You don't have to vocally whine. You can physically whine, and it can be noticed from your teammates as well as your coaching staff. Doing enough just to get by, just enough to finish the training session, just enough to get by. Again, it's noticeable. No participation, always trying to hide. Coach, ask for volunteers, and you just go right at the back of the line. You don't want to participate, excluding yourself and hiding from everyone. Listen, guys, those are noticeable things. You may think that by hiding, you're not being noticed, but actually the opposite happens. Coaches notice. And a college coach is not a volunteer mom and dad. They have experience. They get paid to do this. These are the things that we notice, at a college level or even higher. As a professional, you are trained to notice these little things, these little details. That's something, once again, mindset that you have. If you haven't acquired that yet, you need to acquire in a hurry, okay? That these little things, and these little traits that I'm discussing with you here, these little things of personality and mindset, they are not only sought after by college coaches if you want to play at that game, they are part of their training. They're part of their culture. And if you're going to go play beyond college, same thing. Skills are not enough to get you to the next level, because guess what? When you get to the next level, well, everybody's good. Everybody has been recruited. And if you were a walk-on, you made a team, well, you're a good player. So everybody has those skills, more or less, These are the little things that will separate the elite players, the leaders, the players that will be playing all the time, which is, again, that's another thing that, soccer players, high school soccer players have to adapt. There is no guaranteed playing time anymore. As a freshman, you'll be asked to do a lot of things and play very little, unless you're just a stud, unless you're just a player that is phenomenal. Okay? But in general, most programs, and there are some programs that no matter how good you are, as a freshman, you don't play. You just train. Again, it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with it, and these are some things that you have to do your homework and know about before you get to that situation, before you choose a soccer program or a college soccer program. You have to do your homework and know what the coach is like, what their methodology is, what their philosophy is. I'm not saying that it happens in every university. It doesn't. But there are schools that will say, hey, we don't play our freshmen. You're here to learn the first year. Okay? But there are schools that, freshmen are, pushed through and developed very quickly. But how do you get yourself on the playing field? These are the little things. Okay? These are the little things. Time management. Time management, very important. This is one of the most important aspects, not only of your college experience, but life in general. As one gets older, responsibilities and tasks increase dramatically, while sometimes, well, actually not sometimes, most time, timelines get shorter. You have more things to do and less time to accomplish them, regardless if it's an assignment in school, regardless if it's a task on the soccer field or past college in life. If you get a job, you have more things that you're being asked to do from your boss, and your time frame that you got to accomplish them is very short. So you got to learn to deal with this. It's another thing, by the way, time management, that I always struggle. I'm 57 years old, and I always struggle. I'm aware of it, and I always try to implement systems to make sure that my time management is good and on par. You must learn how to maximize your time, guys. You got to find ways to minimize unnecessary time wasting situations and get all your activities scheduled before the fun activities come. Okay? Half hour here, 15 minutes there, going back to your dormitory and taking a nap when you know you got a big paper due, and you also have trainings, that are coming up. You might want to eliminate that 15-minute nap. If you're feeling tired, well, maybe you should eat something or hydrate yourself to get that fatigue out of your system. But you got to do what you got to do. By the way, fun activities have their place in life, as well as, they are needed, and they tend to re-energize you. But they must be prioritized. Don't go out, to a student activity for a barbecue when you got a paper due, you got homework to do, and then you have 2 training sessions in a game. That I'm sorry, but that's not priority. That barbecue is not priority. Those other things are priority. If you don't have, if you have time, great. But again, during the months of August, September, October, if you're lucky enough to make NCAAs in November, those are the times that you're there to basically study and play your sport. That's it. That's your focus. Plenty of time, to do other things. And I doubt that you're going to find a lot of time to do those fun activities, okay, in a long time period stretches. Reality is that depending on what college you attend, you will have daily classes, as I said, daily training, daily homework. You're going to have to travel for games and try to manage, small interaction social life. So unless you have good management skills, you will get overwhelmed, which will cause a domino effect. And it will affect your on-field performance, your student life, completely derail your mindset, and negative things will start happening. Look, again, it all depends on what level of school you go. If it's Division I, Division III, travel is a big part of that experience. You're always traveling, either by buses or by planes. You might be playing at school where two away games in a row. Usually, when you travel and you're playing Division I ball, you're usually playing 2 games because you may have to travel by plane, further away than most. So you're going to play, 2 games in a couple of days span. You better have your laptop with you. In fact, students travel with their gear bag, their computer, their laptop, and a pillow, because they're trying to find a couple of minutes of sleep anywhere they can. They're doing homework on the bus, on a plane. Yes, you set up with, counselors to help you out with your struggles. If you have struggles on your homework, you have so many tools to help you succeed. A lot more tools in college than you have in high school. But at the end of the day, you got to make these choices. Somebody will show you the time management or time manage yourself. Somebody will help you with a schedule, but it's up to you to organize that schedule and execute it, if that makes sense. Okay? You do have tools, many tools to your disposal to help you be successful. But like anything else, a tool is a tool. You can get the best tool possible available. But if you don't utilize it properly, or worst case scenario, you don't even pick it up to utilize it, well, it won't do you any good. So once again, it all starts and ends with you. Time management. Counseling and mentorship. Another favorite of mine. It's a great way to deal with all these balls that you're bouncing, and you will be asked to balance a lot of different balls that you may not have had in your previous high school life. So to deal with those bouncing balls, finding a counselor or mentor is a great thing. This could be simply someone who has been through this already, knows how to deal with it, and possibly has systems and plans on how to be successful. Simply put, it could be one of your returning players who has current experience and is in the grind with you on a daily basis. It's a little detail But again, I think a lot of people, don't see it. They struggle in their rooms and trying to find solutions to their problems, and beating their heads against the wall when, look, your teammates is a great source of counselorship and mentorship, and find that in the returning players who they were freshmen last year, the year before. If if you're with them on a daily basis, you get to see how they operate, and their experience and their routines and their plans and the systems kind of rubs off on you. But once again, it's up to you. My opinion is always try to model yourself after someone who has done it before and is successful, because it will always help you to shortcut the process. It's a lot easier if you duplicate and model yourself after someone who's done it and successful, has systems and plans in place, as opposed to trying to figure out everything on your own. It's a lot more difficult to try to reinvent the wheel when you could just go buy a wheel and put on your car, if that makes sense. Off-season program. Okay, so maintain quality habits and systems learned through the season. You stick to a year-round conditioner program, which usually is given by the coaching staff and training staff. They will tell you what to do during the off-season. And keep in mind that once the fall season is over, and if hopefully you have a great, successful season going to NCAAs and all that good stuff, by the time it's all done, you're going to have finals and you have this and that. The term is going to be over. Hey, you come home and you recharge your batteries. Your family, your friends, your loved ones. You're in a comfortable surrounding. You have a fantastic time. You energize. That's the time to re-energize yourself. But you come back, you want to pick up the same programs, systems, plans that you were during the season. Maybe tweak them a little bit. You don't have to be as intense as they are during the season. Tweak them a little bit to your personal needs, but maintain those systems during the off season, because guess what? Coaches are going to tell you spring training is going to be right around the corner. By the time Christmas and the holidays are over and this and that, before you know it, hey, spring training is right around the corner. So you want to make sure that you prepare for that spring training. I want to, again, create and maintain a schedule, a process, a system that will keep you focused, focus mode year round. Even when the spring training season is over, now you have courses, now you have, summer approaching again. Look, guys, it's a 4-year process that you need to work. There are going to be times, where you can take off here or there and, enjoy yourself, but they're not going to be long-term. Going to be short and quick. You got to focus in those 4 years. Sorry. You're playing ball in college, 4 years are important. If you have plans, if your plans are to play beyond college, it's even more, focus, laser focus that you have to be, okay? More that you got to implement these things. But don't think that you're going to go and play soccer for 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, and then you're done. You can just mess around. You can't. This is a 4-year commitment into your education, into your soccer future, okay? And hopefully your soccer future will go beyond college, okay? Having fun, right? Didn't forget that, guys. Having fun. Listen, joint activities. Usually teams organize activities, and that creates chemistry and bonding opportunities. Coaches promote team-oriented activities because a team needs to have chemistry. Team needs to have a bonding with each other in order to perform well on the field, especially female athletes, okay? Male athletes tend to be a little more self-reliant, where they may not be, loving each other, but when it comes to the training grounds and the game, they will fight for one another, okay? Females usually need to have that bond and chemistry, throughout their on-field and off-field life. But again, top level players, elite level players, regardless if they're male or females, they have that mentality. Once they're there, doesn't matter if it's training or games, they got that killer instinct. They got that killer attitude. They got that champion, mindset. You know what I mean? But again, as a whole, having fun and being part of the team is a good experience because teams tend to organize activities. You finding common ground with your teammates will help you so many ways and enhance your college experience. That's an absolute truth, guys. You gotta find common grounds, and you know what? For some of you guys, it's going to happen naturally. For others, you may have to work on it, but you're gonna find common grounds with especially your first year teammates. By the way, this is a massive advantage that that team student athletes have over individual non-athlete students. If you would like to have more time available, join other activities or groups on campus. Learn to go on your way and explore and try to find fun activities, but only if you have time, only if it fits in your time management schedule, and make sure you prioritize it. Make sure that your academics and your soccer experience come before any type of fun. Okay, but as I said before, being in a team environment and being a player, a student athlete, should I say, that's coming into a team environment, it's going to be a lot easier for you to have activities and have fun and bonding experience than somebody who's coming in on their own with no other people to bond with, maybe other than the roommates. And in all honesty, you can have a roommate that you may not have a lot of common in. Hey, look great when you were selecting those roommates, and you kind of clicked online or on the phone for a little while. But once you start living with that roommate, you may not have a lot of common. You may be living in dormitories where you have your own private room with a common area, right? So guess what? If you really don't, bond with somebody, or if you don't have a lot of common ground, you're coming in and going. It's like your own apartment. You really don't even have to speak to them if you don't want to. Okay. But again, being part of this environment, being part of this team environment will give you experiences that you guys are going to remember way beyond your college years. Plus, it's easier. It becomes easier because you have a support group of all these players that have common, goals and common activities, that being soccer players. Okay. Listen, you got to remember this. Okay. The past is the past. You may have been the top player. You may be the top of the mountain in the environment you came from, but so were all the other players on the team. Okay. You're coming into an environment that all these players were recruited and selected. And again, if you have a walk-on, great, but chances are if you're a walk-on, you're that kind of player. So it's not like, you were top of the mountain, you're coming into a new environment, new team, and all the rest are just subpar players below you. No, they were all in the same environment as you were, right? Now you got to start all over. You must prove yourself all over. Nothing will be given to you or handed to you. In fact, as a freshman, you probably be asked a few things to be done that upper classmen and return players don't do because they already did it. So that's a big, mind shift to remember. Don't come in, with a swagger and a, elitish attitude. It's not gonna help you. Believe me. Elite players, by the way, find ways to always adapt and get familiar with new situations. So elite players have the mindset that, not only are they confident, but if there's a challenge, if it's a new situation, they'll figure out a way to be on top of the mountain, on top of the group. They are comfortable with being a follower before they become leaders. And that's exactly what leaders do. You must know how to follow before you can lead. A good leader must know how to follow always. Always, always, always. You cannot become a leader unless you know how to follow, guys. And that's the bottom line. Closing. It starts and ends with mindset, attitude, and preparation. It starts and ends with you. Nobody will do that for you. Nobody will go to bed for you. They may help you. They may offer you tools, but nobody will actually do it for you. You need to adjust your mindset. You need to adjust your attitude, and you need to prepare. Then you got to add managing expectations and creating a time schedule. Lastly, you must show up every day and play all out. Life is tough. College life is tough. Show up every day and play all out. That is a sports life. That's a student athlete's life. That's a champion's life. You champion your life every single day, not only in college, but in years after that. and you will have a champion's life experience every single day for the rest of your life. Guys, I hope you found this presentation helpful. I hope some of the things that I talked about, and believe me, I talk from personal experience, I talk from the heart. I love mentoring and helping, student athletes. If you would like to address any of the points that I made, if you would like to talk about a specific thing that maybe I didn't address, reach out to me. I'm available all the time. Can be reached through email or telephone numbers. I'm not going to post them on here. You can just, go into our webpage, go to my Facebook page. They're available to you guys. You can Google me, you can Facebook message me, you can Instagram me, all those things, and we can connect. And if you would like to discuss something further, be more than happy to help you guys out. Lastly, before I let you guys go, if you enjoyed this, if you found value in this, please subscribe to the channel. If you see this video on YouTube, please like it, and please hit the little bell. This way, when new videos come up, you get noticed, and kind of helps us navigate through your YouTube clutter. Okay. Till the next video, guys. Be healthy, enjoy your college experience, and don't forget, lead and live a champion's life. Take care, guys.